Hello everyone, in this video we are going to create a simple application which is an image gallery with a custom shimmer effect. As you can see, when the image start loading, we will show a placeholder with a shimmer effect, and then once they are fully loaded, we will show the actual image. Let me refresh once again, and we will have a beautiful shimmer effect. You can add a new image from here. We only need a name or title for an image, and then you can upload an image from here. For the technology stack, we are using a NeonDB for database with Prisma as our ORM, and we are using Sharp.js for image processing to create our shimmer effect for the placeholder. It's a very simple and basic application, but you are going to understand how to create a custom shimmer effect without relying on any library. So let's go ahead and get started. I have ShadCN UI open in front of me. ShadCN UI has been updated a little bit. As you can see, you can create a new project from here. When you click on create new project, you can choose between Radix UI and Base UI. There's a lot of changes going on in the UI world, and one of the things is that Radix UI is not maintained very good anymore. That's why ShadCN introduced Base UI also. I think a lot of core Radix UI members moved to Base UI. That's why they introduced this one. And also for the icon library, and now they have Lucid and then Tabular and huge icons. I really like these huge icons. These are really nice and beautiful icons. I'm going to my terminal and do a pnpmdlx create next app, and then we will use the latest version. And let's name our app image gallery. Image gallery, like this. We want to use all the default things. Okay, our project got created successfully. And now let's cd into our project, cd image gallery, and then let's open it in VS Code. Okay, as you can see, we have our basic Next.js structure here. Let's run our project. Actually, before running our project, let's install the necessary packages. So we have ShadCN and everything installed, but let's configure that. If we go to Google Chrome and let's copy this command to initialize ShadCN. We go back to our terminal, and then in here, let's add this one. And while it's being initializing, let's also add this one. We will install all the components. We don't need to add only button. We will do everything. Okay. For the base color, I will use natural. And now let's paste the other command. Instead of just a button, we will do all. -- all is installing all the required components, all of them that are available in ShadCN repository. Okay, all the components are installed now. Now let's run our project, pnpm and we will check it in the browser to see if it's working. And as you can see, we have our very first basic Next.js application up and running. Now, let's go ahead and configure our database. We will add a database. We will store our images to the database. Let's go ahead and add that one. Let me close this one, and then let's go to NeonDB, log in, and then click on create new project. I will name my project. Let's name it image gallery. And then I will choose my location to be Sydney. Click on create, and then now click on connect. because we are using Prisma, just click on .env and you need to only copy this database URL. And if you go back to our VS Code, we already, actually, before that, let's initialize Prisma. So it will create .env file and everything for us. Click on docs once you open prisma.io. And now click on Next.js. And now if you come down, let's install these commands one by one. I will do this one first. And then let me shut down my server again. Because I'm using pnpm, I just add p in front of the npm. And let's also copy the other command. And let's do this one also. Okay. And once Prisma being installed, we can initialize it. We can copy this one. Okay, it has been installed. Now let's initialize it. You can just do npx prisma init and then -db. You can specify the output, but I'm going to remove this one. So by default, if you remove it, it will generate your output in lib folder. I'm going to allow it to do that. Let's press enter. Oh, I did npx. Let's do pnpm dlx and then prisma init like this. Okay, perfect. Our Prisma got generated. And now let's go ahead to our database. We actually, let's first grab our database URL that we copied from here. And let's paste that in .env file that Prisma created for us. Let me make my VS Code a bit bigger so you can see that. And this is our database URL. And now what we can do, let's check Prisma documentation. We can follow this documentation. We can create a model like this. We will do that soon. We have to make sure .env/config is imported in prisma.config.ts. And then once we create our models, we can generate a migration. And also we can generate a Prisma client. Let's first generate a Prisma client first. If you come down here, let's copy this one. And then if we go back to our VS Code, and inside the lib folder, it's up to you where you want to create this one. I name it to be db.ts, and then just paste this one. And I will rename this Prisma to be db, and this one also need to be db. Okay, perfect. And let's export const db. And we remove this export default from here. Okay, perfect. We don't have this one yet, but we will get it soon. And to get it soon, actually, let's go to Prisma and then generate our model. Let me remove all these comments. We don't need them. If you come down, let's do a model, and then I will say image. And then this model will have an ID, which is of type string, and then it has an ID decorator, and default will be UUID like this. We will also add a title to our image. A title is of type string, and the image URL, or just URL, because the model name is image, which is also of type string. Let's add created at, which is of type date time, and default will be now like this. And then let's also add updated at, which will be also of type date time, and the decorator updated at. Our model is very simple like this. Okay, perfect. And now let's go back to our terminal. We will do pnpm and then dlx and then prisma migrate diff. If you see our Neon console right now, let me close this one If we go to tables, we should not have anything. As you can see, we do not have anything. But as soon as we generate our migration or we run our migration command, let's run it. And then I spelled Prisma wrong. It's Prisma. Okay, let's fix this Prisma like this. Let's add a name to our migration, initial migration, like this. Okay, our migration is done. Now let's do, let me clear first so you can see this properly. And now let's do a Prisma generate. And after that, we will do Prisma format. Prisma format. What Prisma format is doing, it will format our Prisma schema. For example, let's say you have like this, and then this one is here, like very unstructured, like this. And then once you run Prisma format, it will make all of them in a inline to match the same line. Okay, perfect. And now let's go to our db.ts and fix this one, because when we generated npx prisma generate, and then this one, this command is going to create our generated folder, which we have the Prisma client inside it. So let's change our app to be lib, not lin, it's lib. And I'm also going to change this dot to use this symbol. Okay, perfect. Now that we have this thing set up, let's also go to upload thing and set up our upload thing. We don't need Prisma anymore. Let's go to uploadthing.com and let's go to dashboard. I already have a few apps. Let's create a new app and let's name it image gallery, like this, and choose a free option. If you choose free option, you cannot choose your region or access controls, but that's okay for us. Okay, perfect. And now grab your API key, copy from it, and go back to your .env file and paste that in here. Okay, perfect. Uploading token. Now let's go back to our documentation and finish the upload thing setup. If you come here and the Next.js app router, and now we have to install the upload thing. Okay, we will install it. Okay, npm install upload thing and then upload thing react. And we already have the upload thing token. And now let's create this core.ts. If you go to your VS Code and come to under app, let's create a new folder and name it, name it API, and then another folder, name it upload thing. And then inside upload thing, let's create a route.t, a core.ts, and just paste the code that you copied. And we don't require an authentication because this app doesn't require authentication. You can remove all these comments also if you want. And we don't need this middleware at all because that's for authentication. On upload complete, you can leave it. You can send something if you want. Let's remove it for now. I don't think we need it. And then we can make these arguments also empty. Okay, our uploading core is very clean and small. Let's also create route.ts and copy the code from uploading, but let's create the route first. Route.ts, and if you come to upload thing, as you can see, it also says that under app create API and then upload thing and then core.ts. If you go down and then copy this one, paste in routes and remove the comments if you don't like them. Okay, perfect. And now let's inside the lib, let's create upload thing. We can copy for that this code. So you can create anywhere, but I'm going to create it in lib upload thing.ts and paste it here. And then instead of app, that symbol, let's use this symbol. Okay, perfect. We will probably use this upload drop soon. But I think our installation setup is all done. Let's close them and we will only leave our localhost browser to be open. And now let's go and start working. Let me close all the open editors and even this one, and we will start from scratch. So let's first go to page.tsx. In this page.tsx, let's remove everything. Let's return a div. Oops. And then let's add a class name to this div. A class name. Let me make this a little bit bigger. And then in this class name, we will do flex call, and also let's do weight to be device view weight, and gap to be 6, and max weight to be MD like this. And let's also do MX auto and MD minimum weight. On medium screens, the minimum weight should be 7XL like this, which is 1280 pixels. Okay, perfect. Now let's remove this image. We don't need that one. And below that, let's create our Binto grid. We will create a Binto grid, a custom Binto grid. I will create this soon. And let's close this one. We don't have this yet, but we will create that soon. Let's do class name. And then let's do max weight to be 7XL, the same like above that we added there. And then MX auto add here also. Okay. And now, before adding anything else, let's go ahead and create this Binto grid. We can create that one inside our components, but it's up to you where you want to create that one. But I'm going to create that inside the components. I will go inside our components under UI, and then let's name it Binto grid like this .tsx. And now let's export default function Binto grid. Okay, and then this Binto grid, it will accept a class name, which will be a string, and also it will accept children. So let's specify the type for them. A class name will be a string. Class name will be of type string, and the children will be of type React Node. And now what we can do, let's straight away return our div. And then add a class name. I will do mx auto, and let's make it grid, and let's make max w to be 7xl again, and let's also add w full and grid columns 1 for mobile devices, and px4, and let's also add gap 4 like this, and MD on medium devices. Let's do auto rows, and then 18 rem, 18 rem, like this. Or auto rows, it should be like this. And we also need to add in medium screens, we need to add a grid columns 3, like this. Okay. And I think we can use the SharpCN function, so we can add multiple classes. Let's do that. We use cn. You can import from libutils. And now we can come down here and add our class here, and also the class that we received as a prop, this one. Okay. And down here in between, let's render the children like this. Perfect. Let's also add the Bento grid item. Actually, I'm going to change this one to export const. Export const Bento grid, and then let's do it to be like this and make it an arrow function like this. And we can copy exactly this same function, and let's come down and create a Bento grid item like this. But for the Bento grid item, we will need a class name, a title, and image or URL. For now, let's add a class name and also a title, and we also need image. Let's add them here also. Title is also string, and image is also string, like this. Perfect. And now we have our div. We don't need this children anymore. Let's remove this group and these classes. We will add different classes here. So the first one, we will make this group, and we'll name it Bento. Group Bento. We'll add shadow and input, and let's also add w full. Let's also add height is full, like full weight and height, and row span to be 1, like this. Let's also add this to be flex and flex column, and justify between. And let's also add space y to be 4, like this, and rounded XL. Okay, let's keep adding classes. We will also add this one to have a border, and border natural. Natural, let's do 200. Natural 200, and the BG should be white, like this, the background. And let's add a transition, and the duration of 200. Duration of the transition, duration 200, like this. And let's add a hover. On hover, let's add the shadow, not like this. On hover, let's do shadow to be how much we can do. I think we can do 2xl, like this. Okay, perfect. And if you save and come down here, let's add the class name also. If you want to pass another class name, oh, it's already there. We don't need to add. Okay, perfect. And down here in between, let's add a card. We already installed the card, we already installed all the components from ShadCN UI, so we can use card component here. Let's add a class name to the card, and we will make it W full. Height should be SVW, like this. And then on medium screens, let's do on medium screens a height to be full, and let's do overflow hidden, like this. And also, what other class we need? Let's add a shadow. Oops. A shadow LG, and let's add a padding of 0. We need padding to be 0. And inside this card, let's add card content, and let's add a class name to our card content also. So we can do position relative like this, and W full again, and height also need to be full, and overflow hidden, and also shadow LG, like this. If you come down in here, let's add a image from next image, like this, and it's a self-closing tag. We need the image src to be image that we receive as a prop in here, and let's add an alt tag to the image. It will be title, and let's leave it for now to be like this. I think in this bento grid we don't need anything else, and the only remaining option for us is now we need to create our image upload. Okay, so to do that, let's do that. Actually, let's import the bento grid first. Bento grid from components bento grid, like this. Oh, we are missing the children. Let's render, for example, an each one for now. Okay. And now let's go to our components and create, not under UI, just directly under components. Let's add image uploader.tsx, and let's export default image uploader. Export default function, I forgot function, image uploader. And now let's do in this image uploader what we can do here. Let's go above this one first. Actually, no, let's return our div first. We are going to return div, and then let's add a class name to this div. We'll do it flex, and then flex column. Let's do gap 6, and mx auto, and also my6, like this, and w full, and also max weight to be a md sorry, md. And then on md, let's do minimum weight to be 7xl, like the one that we did for all other divs. And let's also add a px of 6, like this. If you come down, and let's add another div here, we will add the class name flex, and then justify and items center, and p5, and let's do shadow lg, like this, and rounded md. Okay, perfect. Now let's add our button here. We have a button component you can import from UI button, and now let's add a class name to this button. A class name will be self and also a cursor pointer, like this. Let's add a text to this button. We will say create new image. Okay, we will come back to this button later, but for now, let's leave it like that. And in here, below this div, let's create our dialog, because we don't need to create a whole page for just a single image and title upload, image upload and title creation. We can do that through a dialog. Okay, and let's come down. Let's add dialog content. Then dialog content, let's add a class name also to this dialog content. Let's do w full and max wmd, and border, we don't need border for this one. We do border 0 and shadow none. And now let's do dialog header and then dialog title, dialog header, and inside the dialog header we have the dialog title, and then the dialog title, let's do like, I don't know what to say here. Let's do upload an image like this. Below the dialog header, let's add our form, a normal HTML form. We don't need this action, but instead we need an ID. ID will be, let's name it image form, because this ID we will add for the submit button. We will add the submit on click later on, but for now, let's add a field, a group that you can import from UI field. And then let's add our controller. You can import from React hook form. And this controller is a self-closing tag, and it will need, let's first create our schema first. Okay, I'm going above here, and let's do form schema. Should we name it form schema? Yes, I think. Z, you can import Z from Zod. Let's import it manually. I don't know, sometimes my auto completion is not working. Import Z from Zod like this. And then form schema is z.object. And then inside this object, we will need only title, which is z.string. And let's do add a minimum, like the title should have a minimum of 3 characters, and then a message that will say title is required like this. And let's also add the URL, which is also z.string like this. This is optional. And now let's create our form. The const form is use form from React hook form. And then here, let's add a space here first, and then let's add resolver, which will be Zod resolver, and let's import it manually. Import Zod resolver from hook form resolvers, and then Zod like this. And then this Zod resolver, let's pass the form schema to that like this. And let's also add our default values. Our default values will be a title, an empty string for now, and image URL, also an empty string right now. And let's come down here in our controller. We need to add a name. The name will be title. This name should match exactly what you named your schema like this. It should match your schema, so you can access that. And then what else we need for this name? We need a control, which will be of type form dot control. the form that we created here, this form. And also we need to add the render, which will be a function. And let's straight away destructure the field and also field state from here. And now let's return a field here. You can import from UI field, and this field, let's close it, and let's add an attribute here. We will add the data invalid if field state, field state, not form state. If field state dot invalid. We will mark this field to be invalid if field state is invalid. Okay, now let's add our input. You can import from UI input, and let's self-close it. And this input, we will pass all the field here. And let's also add the area invalid, and then we will make this one also to be field state dot invalid, like this. And you can also add like a field error message. We can do that actually. Let's do it here. If field, we will say if field state dot invalid, so we will show our error. And then we will say field error, like this. And in here, as a self-closing tag also, you can directly pass the errors to be a field state dot error, like this. It should be wrapped in brackets like this. Okay, perfect. Now that we have created this one, let's also copy this controller and create our image URL also. Inside the same field group, if you come down and paste this one, and this time name it to be URL, and instead of this input, we will add our upload drop zone. You remember we created this one, upload thing inside the lib folder. We will use this one, this upload drop zone. Okay, let's do that. Upload drop zone. Let's do it like upload drop zone from lib upload thing. Don't import it from upload thing React. Just import from lib upload thing, and then let's close it, and then let's add an endpoint. You can grab these contents or that configurations from upload thing itself also. If you go to upload thing and then documentations, documentation here, and Next.js app router, and then if you go down, it should have that one. As you can see, it's here. And then let's copy actually this endpoint from here, and then the rest we can configure ourselves. The endpoint should be image uploader, and then let's come down. We will add a content. Let's do content, and the content is an object. Let's just add a label for now, and we will say drop or click to upload an image, like this. And let's also configure the appearance. Appearance is also an object, and then let's add a style to our container, and then our container style will be, let's do rounded rounded XL. I think XL is okay. And then let's add border and padding of 6. Let's also add the upload icon to be size will be 6. Okay, we will also add a config. A config is also of type object. We will add mode to be auto. Mode auto, like as soon as you drop your file, it will automatically upload. And what else we can do? Right now, I think that's all good for us. We can come back to this one later. But right now, let's add our button to submit our form. Let's add a class name to this one. A class name, and then we do flex self end, and also let's do my6 and nl auto, and also a cursor pointer like this. We also need to make this button disabled. Should be disabled if form.form state is invalid, not form.form state dot is valid like this, or if form is submitting, form.form state dot is submitting like this. In these two cases, we should make this one to be disabled. And then let's add a type of submit, and also let's add a form. You remember we added an ID to a form, image form. We can use that ID in here, image form. If you don't use that ID, it will probably you will trigger some other forms. Let's do our label. Our label should be create image like this. And now let's configure form. Let's create our own submit method. Now let's first create an state here. Our state will be is open, and then set is open, because we have our dialog here. We should control our dialog by using a state, use state. By default, it will be false, like this. And then let's import use state from React like this. And now let's create our onSubmit. OnSubmit is an async function. And let's add this onSubmit in to our form. In here, we will do onSubmit, and then it will be a form that we created above here. I mean this form dot handle submit, and then it will accept this on submit function that we created here. Okay, perfect. And now in here, what we can do, we will grab the data, or you can name it whatever you want, and then this data will be of type z.infer, and then type of form schema like this. Okay, now let's do inside this one, let's add a try catch block. Try and then catch. For the catch, let's grab the error right now, and then we will do toast. You can import that from sonar.error. Okay, we will say error.message. Error is undefined, but we can mark it to be as error like this. Okay, we will come and fix this error later, but right now let's do our await here. Let's mark this to be to do, and we'll come back to this one also soon. I think I'm missing something. I missed this one from here. I think that's why we got this error. Let's make that to be working, and we will come back to this to do here. But before that, let's go in here. I'm going to create an action folder inside the app. You can create it wherever you want, but I'm creating it here, and then export commands. Let's do create image. This will be our function name, and then it's an async function. And let's make it an arrow function, but let's mark this to be used server. So we should not forget it, because it is a server action. Use server. And if you come down, you can create a try catch block here also. For the catch, you can copy exactly the same thing that we added here and come here and paste it. I think we don't need this just error here. We need to throw new error like this. And then in the try block, since we have access to our database, we will do const image, and then let's do await db. You can import from libdb dot image dot create, and then let's pass our title and the URL. Let's do data. In data, we will have let's receive title and URL as an argument here. The title, we will have a string, and the URL is also a string like this. And then in the data, we will pass title and URL like this. Super simple. And then just return image. Perfect. And now we can use that in here. So we remove this to do, and we are going to add a wait, and then create an image. Create image, import it from app actions, and then image. And then this one will accept a title and a URL. So we have a title and URL inside this data. Let's destructure it to be title and URL like this. Oh, I think we need one more extra here because we forgot to close our function. Okay, perfect. And now let's add is open and set is open to our dialog. In our dialog, we will do open. Open to be is open, and on open change, let's do grab the open, and then let's just set is open to be whatever this open is. I mean, we will set it is open to this open. Perfect. And now we can go back to our page and add this. Before the Window grid, let's add our image uploader. Image uploader from components image uploader. Like this. In here that we created our images, let's also create another function to get all our images from databases. Get images like this, and we don't need any argument here. And instead of image.create, we will do image.find many like this. And then let's do order by created that or updated that. Let's do updated that, and then DSC like descending. and we'll name this images, and this one also images, return images. Perfect. And then we can use that in our page. Let's do that here. We'll say const images, which will be await. Is it get images? Yes, from actions images. And let's make this function async because this is a server component. And here we can render our images and then dot map, and then let's return our bento grid that we created inside components UI bento grid and bento grid item. Sorry, we already have our bento grid. If you save, and then let's add an index also here. And now let's style this. We add a key. Key will be image.id. Let's do that. The title will be image.title, and let's also add the image, which will be image.image, or I think it's image.url, sorry, image.url. And also let's add a class name to this one. We will make this class name conditional because we are using, like, we want to make it to look like a bento grid. We will say fi, or our index is either 3 or our index is 6, then add this class name to be md and then call span. Let's do 2, like this. Otherwise, we are not going to add any class name. I think that's all. That's all that we need for now. We can go ahead and run our server. Let's do that. pnpm diff, and let's check it in the browser. Okay, we have to mark our image uploader to be use client because it gives us an error. Oh, we have a bunch of these things. Let's remove them. We don't need them. And URL from Z. And let's mark this to the use client. Use client like this. And if we check it now, it should be all working. Perfect. This is our header. And then our bento grid is not showing right now because we don't have any image. But we can create an image from here. Click on add new. Oh, I think we forgot to add the click option to our button. So if you come down here, let's add an on click option here, on click, and then let's do an inline function here, and then we will do set is open to be true like this. And now if you click on this, we create new image, you have our model open. In our upload thing, I think we forgot this one. Let's import this one, add this one to our global.css. We can open it, global.css, this one, and we can add it here like this. Let's add this one also. Okay, global.css, let's add this one also like this. Let's try it now. Okay, perfect. Now it's looking good. Okay, let's try to add an image now. And as you can see, it starts auto uploading. Okay, perfect. And let's do first image. And if you create this image, but let's add a toast actually first to this one. Let's close this and then image upload. As soon as it is done, we will add a toast from Sonar. We already have toast.success, and then image created successfully. Let's configure our toast. We have to go to not page, it should be in layout. You can add to page also, but it's up to you wherever you want. And under the children, I'm going to add a toaster and import it from components UI. So let's also add rich colors. So we will have nice and beautiful colors for that. And while it's rendering, actually let's start refreshing. Let's add a new image, first image, and let's upload. Click on an image to upload. And now let's click on create image. As you can see, image created successfully. Perfect. Now let's make that when we upload an image, the modal should close, and let's add a loading circle here. So let's do that one. I go to image uploader. In the image uploader, let's go down. First, we need to add a loading state here. So we will say form.formState.is submitting. If it is submitting, then add this circle icon, actually the spinner that we have in our UI spinner. And then let's add a size to this one, class name size to be 6, like this. And if it is not submitting, then we will add this text, create image. Okay, now what we can do in here, in URL or image upload drop zone, as you can see in our model, like when we upload an image, we don't have any preview option. So what we can do, we can add a preview option. So as soon as the image got uploaded, we will show a preview of the image here. Let's do that. So to do that, we are going to create a state first. I'm coming here, and then let's say const image URL, or I don't know, you can say image URL or just URL, like this. And then let's use state. By default, it will be an empty string, like this. And let's go down. In here, the image uploader, let's add another option here on client upload complete. It will take a function, and then the function will get the response. Let's create a function here, and then let's grab the URL, and then it will be response 0 dot UFS URL, like this. And then we will check if we have the URL, this URL. We will set image URL to be this URL. Okay, perfect. And we also need to do one more thing. I don't think we need this field because we are not using it, right? Okay, perfect. And now if you go up in this on submit, let's add a finally block. And then in this finally block, set is open. Let's make that one false first. And let's reset the form.reset to make everything clear again. And let's create a router and then refresh our page. Let's create a router, and then we will do use router from next navigation. And in here, let's do router dot refresh. And then instead of this URL, we will pass this URL to be this your image URL like this. Okay, I think it's all good. And we also need to show our, once we upload an image, instead of this drop zone, we should show the preview of that image. So to do that, what we are going to do, okay, let's cut this one first. We'll make this conditional, and let's cut it. And then let's do if image URL, if it exists, and then we will show an image tag from next image. We will come back to this soon. But if it doesn't exist, so if the URL is empty, we will do this one. Okay. And for this image, let's wrap it in a div first. We will do a div, and then let's add let's paste this back, and then let's add a class name to this div. It should be relative, because this image, once we specify it to fill the parent container, it will be absolute. And then W full, and then rounded MD. And let's also do overflow hidden, and the shadow LG. And let's also do height to be 32. And I think that's it. We don't need any more properties. And let's do the src to be an image URL like this. And class name, we will do object to cover the parent container. Object cover means like the height of this parent container is 32, which is 128 pixel. So it will get that full weight and height. What else we need? We need to add fill option here and an alt option. The alt will be uploaded image like this, something like that. And now if we check in our browser, let's create a new image, and then second image, let's upload one image. I can upload this one. Let's wait for that to be uploaded. Oh, and we are getting this error because we have to add this one to our host name. If you go to Next.js config, config, in here, let's add images, and then it's an object, and then remote patterns, which will be an array, and then inside this array there is objects. Let's just add host name. You can add like other options here, like protocol to be HTTPS or something, and then port, but the only required field is the host name. And as soon as you added that, because you changed Next.js configuration, you have to restart your server. And now if we check our browser, as you can see, we have some images here. Okay, perfect. Perfect. So I think this one is not saved in the database. Let's create a new one, and then let's name it a second image again. I spelled wrong. Let's do third image like this, and then let's upload one more image. I will do this one, and then it has been uploaded. As you can see, this is the preview. And then now let's click on create image. In our bento grid, let's fix that one where we render the image. Where's our bento grid? Here. Okay, in our bento grid item, we have to return null if we don't have image. if no image, then we should return null. Otherwise, if we have image, then only in that case we will return this vector grid. Come here, we will add the fill option. Let's add a class name, and let's do object cover, and let's upload an image from here. I'll say another image, and then let's just upload one. Okay, I will upload this house image. Okay, perfect. Let's create it. And as you can see, it's there. Okay, now if you refresh, as you can see, it is fast and it's blinking. Let me show you, like, if the network is slow, what will happen. You can go to network tab, and then from here, just change this to be 3G. And then now let's refresh. And you can see that they are blinking and they are shifting the image size, the height and weight. It's shifting. So to fix that one, we are going to add a custom shimmer effect. So I will show you if we need to install Sharp.js or Sharp.js. And then it's a very beautiful package for image processing. You can go to its GitHub, and if you come here, you can install it like this. Let's go to our terminal, and let's do a npm install Sharp. Okay, Sharp is being installed. Let's run our server. And as you can see, it's super easy to use. You can use like these options. Let's go to our VS Code, and under the lib folder, I'm going to create a new file. I will name it sharp.ts, like this. Import sharp from sharp, like this. Let's export a constant get image constant, and then we will name it get image placeholder, like this, and then make it an async function, and it will only need a URL, which will be of type string. And let's add a try catch block here. And for our catch block, let's grab the error, and then we need to throw new error, and then error dot message. We should mark this error to be as error, like this. And then in the try block, let's fetch the image first. We will get the image response. I don't know what to name. Let's do image response, like this, and then it will be await fetch. It fetches like normal JavaScript fetch, and then fetch the URL, and then come down here, and let's once we fetch the image response, we will turn it to a buffer. Let's do buffer, and then we will do buffer dot from, and then await image response dot array buffer. We will turn this image response to an array buffer. And now let's come down. We will get the image to be processed by Sharp. And then Sharp will need a buffer. We'll pass that buffer. And I don't know what to name this one, but let's name it LQBI buffer, something like this. LQB, I think people name it LQBIP buffer. LQBIP buffer, people use like that. And then let's do await image dot resize. If you check Sharp documentation, it has like this resize, and then you can chain to use like JPG and to buffer like the other extra options. So we are using a resize, and then we will use JPEG also. Let's do that. Resize, we will make the size to be 24 pixel, super small, and then turn it to blur. And let's also do JPEG, like this. And let's go to buffer, and that's it. Oops, here. And now let's convert it to a base64 URL. We will do const blur data URL, and let's add it to be a template literal. We will do data will be of image slash JPEG and the base64 like this. Let's add a comma, and then we will do LQ BIP buffer, this one, and we convert that to string. What kind of string? Base64, like this. And now we just need to return this one. Return blur data URL. Perfect. We are all done. Let me close all these unnecessary files. And now we can go to only we need this page. And in this page, let's create a new variable. We will say const formatted images, and then let's make it images dot map, and then we will take image, and then let's come here. We will return the rest of the image and only add blur data URL to be await get image placeholder from lib sharp, and then we just need to pass image.url like this. To make this await work, let's turn this to async. And now instead of images, let's use the formatted images. It will give us an error because this formatted images of type promise. Let's wrap them, cut this, and then do await promise dot all, and then just paste that inside. Perfect. It has been resolved. And now let's pass the blur data URL also. Okay, blur data URL is of type image dot blur data URL, and let's add this to our Bento grid. Actually, it's Bento grid item. Let's do blur data URL. This one is also of type string. Blur data URL is of type string. And then here, we will say a placeholder blur, and then blur data URL will be blur data URL like this. Perfect. If we check our browser now, let's upload a few images also. Okay, we are getting an error because in here we have this blur data URL. That one may be empty. Since we checked if image is empty or there is no image, or we will also check no blur data URL, then we will return null. Let's add a few more images. A fourth image, and then let's upload one. I'm going to add all images and then okay, as you can see, I have added a few extra images, and now let's refresh and see the shimmer effect. And as you can see, we have a nice and beautiful shimmer effect, and then the images will show. And that's all about it. If you enjoyed the video, please don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel, and also comment what you want me to build for you. I think my next project will be very big, and it will be released in another 2 or 3 weeks, but it will be an AI SaaS application. It will be really nice and beautiful. Please subscribe to the channel and turn on your notifications so you will not miss that big project. See you in the next video.